Alright, here I am. Lovely hair. Tosh, if you're watching, please ignore my hair. I've been outside with the dog since I've been home from work. And my hair's crazy. And yes, I have a jacket on because where I live, there's like a wind tunnel. So even though it might be 75 degrees out, it feels like 68 or 65. It feels like 10 degrees less than what it is in the sun. So I do wear a jacket sometimes. People probably think I'm strange, but that's just me. So I promised you guys I was going to do a video, and I know I haven't been on for a long time. I know I've had trouble getting back with people for the simple fact that I am very overwhelmed. I have a lot going on with work, and other things. And so it's hard for me to constantly sit here and do readings 24/7. It's hard for me to even do videos sometimes. It's hard for me to even post things. As you notice, even on my regular Facebook, you might see the lunch special from work, and that's might be all you see from me all day. Once in a while, I'll comment happy birthday to somebody or happy anniversary or something like that, or wow, but it's very far and few between because I just don't have time a lot of times. And I don't practice my gift every day like I probably should because I've got too many irons in the fire right now. But the reason why I wanted to jump on and talk to y'all is because there's so many crazy things going on in this world. I don't know if any of you remember the video I had posted on YouTube and then posted on my Facebook also that talked about some crazy things happening by the third week of June. Things that were going to come to light that we did not realize were happening. Things were going to be ousted, and things that were hidden from us as a society or as a country. And I kept saying by the third week of June, something very pertinent and important will come out, right? And then later on, I ended up deleting that video because I do not want to be blocked from YouTube, and I do not want to be blocked from Facebook or anything that has the option to block me because of what I say. I only said those things because I wanted you guys to hopefully remember that I said by the third week of June, but definitely something before the end of summer. So to get into that for a second, June 12th, Dr. Greer went to a conference in Washington, D.C. He has over 700 whistleblowers, from government, from military, from like NASA, from Raytheon Corporation, from all kinds of entities that have experienced alien stuff, right? They witnessed it firsthand with their own eyes. They worked in these underground facilities. They were told to keep quiet or to sign an NDA. If you don't know what that is, that's a non-disclosure agreement stating that what you've seen in these underground bunkers or what you experienced, you're not allowed to talk about. So that came out. Not only did that come out, a couple of days ago, you know that Hunter Biden's stuff was leaked. Like videos he made of him doing illicit drugs, illegal drugs, whatever. That also was leaked on there just a couple days ago, 3-4 days ago. So that's what I was trying to inform you of when back in like January, whenever I did my psychic reading for 2023. I wanted you guys to be informed of things like that are going to come to light that people didn't know about, and now we are seeing it. But that's not it. There's more to come. I would say before the end of this summer, you're going to see and hear a lot of things that you probably questioned. But anyways, to get back to what I originally wanted to talk to you about. So, my gift sometimes is on the back burner. Instead of being the driver of the vehicle, sometimes I feel like I'm in the back seat. And it's because I've got so many other things on my mind, so many other things going on, ordering, just all kinds of crazy stuff, that my gift sits back there. But that doesn't mean that I don't get spiritual vibes. It doesn't mean that I can't read you. But my ego sometimes steps in the way because it's been a minute since I've done I can't say it's been a minute because it's not really been a minute. I haven't been sometimes reaching out to people that have asked me for readings. It's not that I'm trying to diss you or not answer you back. It's just because I've got so much going on that I cannot keep track at this moment. And my ego sometimes steps in and makes me feel like you haven't really done this every day like you were, so you're not going to be as good as what you were. But that's not the case at all. At all. What's crazy is I want to tell you some stories. So I went on an investigation this past weekend, and I posted a picture. And the 2 pictures I posted, and the reason why I posted them is because I wanted you to pay attention to something. So if you are an investigator or you're into the paranormal and you do investigative work, you know that when you are taking a picture of something, you take it in threes. So if you're looking at a tree, take a picture of the tree, take another picture of the tree, and take another picture of the tree without moving. Chick, chick, chick. Okay? And the reason is because that way you can compare all 3 pictures to see if anything has changed in that picture. That's paranormal investigation 101, you know? So, yeah, I had someone say that, you know, on my comment, that's just like dust particles or whatever. But you guys don't know what happened prior to all that, for that to happen, okay? So a month prior to us going to the investigation, I do not like to look up the place, and I do not want to know information. So I don't watch like the videos. I don't read into the place we're going, because I want to know what I feel, see, hear, whatever information I get. So I keep notes on my phone, actually. I have a little note app that I type up everything that comes to me throughout the days leading up to our investigation, sometimes right before we go into the investigation. So we get to this island, and I have a Jamie or James written down, question mark. This person is telling me, you know, prior to going there, that he was on this island. His name was Jamie or James. He will be mentioned. Okay. Then I picked up a Catherine. Pretty sure it was a little girl between the ages of 7 and 8. Her name was Catherine, and I see her in a long, like, white cotton, it's like a thick cotton or sack-like looking nightgown, I guess, running around giggling. So I figured somebody is going to pick her up on their EVPs or through camera or voice somehow, and she will be inside that mansion more than likely that we went to. See, we had reign of this whole entire island. There was only 20 of us, I think it was, on this entire island. That's it. There's nobody there but the maintenance man who watches over the island and us. That's it. No public access whatsoever from, I think, 4 p.m. and clear the next day at 11 a.m. No workers, nothing, no one but the maintenance person and the DNR guy that stayed all night with us, or I guess he's the state park. He watches the state park. This island's like 6 miles long, I think, or something. I can't remember exactly. Maybe not even 6 miles long. It's not very long. Might not even be 6 miles long. It's not very wide, I'll tell you that. You can walk from one side to the other, no problem. There are wild animals there that have been on that island for centuries. There's some deer, there's some coyotes, there's some geese, there's horses. And I'm sure there's a lot more that, you know, basic animals like we all have in our backyard. So what I'm going to tell you is that prior to going, I was getting this information. I heard a woman talking to me, but I did not know her name at the time. She told me she was the lady of the house. She lived in this mansion, because there is a mansion on that island. I also picked up what I would say are Indians. I picked them up before I went, and as a matter of fact, it was a specific Indian. He called himself the chief. I'm assuming he was chief of some tribe on that island. He was telling me that we are going to come across this tribe, and they would be peeking out from behind trees, okay? That they would be peeking out behind trees. This is what I'm getting prior to us going there. And I called them the Watchers, and that's kind of what he told me. They were the Watchers. They watched the land. They watched the people that came and went from that island, you know, to make sure they weren't doing anything to their land. So I call them the Watchers. The chief told me they were called the Watchers. So I've got all this in my notes. Got all this stuff in my notes. I had something about tie a little red ribbon around your pinky in my notes, not understanding what that meant at the time. Now I know. So when we get to the island, we go in for our historical tour of the mansion, and the DNR guy is like telling us, you know, different things, and so is the group that's putting on the investigation. And they said, while we're standing there, the girl's talking, and she's like, and you might run into the Indian chief and the Watchers. So they were just trying to let us know. I mean, they evidently, other people have talked about these Watchers or picked it up on their EVPs or whatever, but they're saying that you'll see them shadow people peek behind the trees. They talked about a little girl, but that they don't think that little girl belonged to the homeowners, but that little girl runs around, and sometimes you can catch her or get her to play with toys, blah, blah, blah. Well, the first place I had been drawn was to an area on the island that was far from the mansion. It used to be a house, and that's where I felt like the Indians were going to be, some of them. I also was told about a room upstairs. When I'm standing outside, there was a room upstairs. I could see the window. I knew that there was something there. Come to find out, that was the lady of the house's bedroom. So yeah, there was things I picked up there also. So me and my friends decide to venture back, pull in our wagon of equipment, clear down to the other end of the island, away from everybody else, so we weren't messing with each other's investigations. We get to this abandoned brick house that has a fence around it to protect people from getting hurt, because the building has fallen in quite a bit. You can tell it was a two-story building. So we're sitting on a picnic table beside there, starting to get dark. We've got some equipment out. All of a sudden I start feeling something behind me, like a bunch of stuff behind me, actually, like numerous souls, okay? I'll just put it that way. Numerous spirits, numerous souls. I started feeling a bunch of stuff around me, and I told the two people I was with, like, take pictures behind me. I can feel them. I can feel the people behind me. In that process, I turn around and I'm talking to the Indians, and I'm like, listen, I know you're watching us from the trees. I can feel your presence. We mean you no harm. We respect your land. Matter of fact, we're really upset with what has happened to this land in America also. We don't agree with the things that are taking place in America anymore. And we are here to respect your land. We just want to know that you exist. And if you have any information you'd like to share with us, right? That's when I took the pictures. 1, 2, 3. Before I took the pictures, I said, please come out from behind the trees. Please come out and meet us, because we are here to understand the situation or understand your story. If you have a story to tell, don't be afraid, because we're not here to hurt you. We're here to respect your land. And I told him to step out from behind the trees. That's when I took the picture, got all the Indians standing there. You might not think they're Indians and you're thinking they're dust particles, but look again. You clear to the right of that picture, you can see the one Indian is shorter than the other Indian, and you can see he even has fuzzy boots on, almost like skin or deer skin boots or whatever they are. You can see it plain as day. They look like kind of furry looking leg warmers. That's what they kind of look like. You can see it plain as day in that picture, and you can see his legs. You can see that Indian standing there, and beside that shorter Indian is a taller Indian, and you can faintly see his legs also. You see their chest, you can see their legs. In between the two trees, you can see another entity that's kind of coming out. On the far end of the left, you can see a big orb-like structure that is like floating in midair. That is the chief, okay? He is the bright blob-like orb that was corresponding with me. Beside him, you can see another Indian behind a tree, or a figure. It looks kind of like smoke. And then right beside there is another one. So technically there was like 6 Indians that stepped out from behind the trees when I asked them to. So my friends are catching this stuff. I also start talking to them again, and I'm like, oh, I can feel something on my left side. I can feel something on my left side. I turned around to take a picture because I could feel like a very strong presence behind my left side of my shoulder that wanted to communicate, and I'm assuming that's the chief, because that's kind of what it felt like. He wanted to talk, So when I turn around, I snap the picture, and that's where I get the blue ball that looks like the earth almost. The girls are doing this. We had the cat balls that lit up with movement. So we got those a couple times when we asked for them to light them up. The balls would light up. So they can't be dust particles because them dust particles were not freaking there in the 2 pictures I took. When I took the 3rd picture, there they were. They came out from behind the trees as I'm asking them to come out, and I'm taking them pictures. So that's not dust particles. And I felt it before it even happened. I mean, before they ever stepped outside, I could feel the watchers. I could feel them all watching from the trees, like wondering what we were doing there on their land. But on our journey down to that house, called the McNeil house, I think it is, or the Neal house, when we were walking, or I guess from that Neal house back to camp, base camp, which is like a mile or whatever, it was crazy because remember when I said, in my notes I had a Jamie or a James, I couldn't quite make it out what the guy was telling me. There was a plaque that said, James so-and-so lived here, his house is no longer there, of course. Yeah. So I took a picture of that plaque too because James obviously was the guy that was trying to communicate with me prior to coming down there to let me know he was there still too. Well, not still too. He visits there pretty much. The Catherine, we go into the mansion finally, and we go upstairs. I instantly wanted to go to the woman's bedroom because I felt something in that area when I had been standing outside. So I start to record, and I'm talking to her, letting her know it's okay. And I told her to come closer. And you can hear her on my video say I'm over here or over here. She says it twice. The first time you can hear it. The second time it gets really faint, so you got to really listen or have your earbuds in. Then out loud, I say something, and she says, "We are here." And you can hear it on my recording. So if that's not spirits, then tell me what it is. It's not dust particles speaking to me. For the person that said that. Yeah, I never knew dust particles could talk to humans, but you know. So those aren't dust particles because I literally have the voice saying "we are here" because they were listening to me because I was asking stuff. My friend was in the little hallway where there was like a children's room or whatever, and she asked about the Catherine, and she said Catherine like that. So I was in the other room, so I don't know exactly what happened then, but I'm assuming she heard the name Catherine come up just like I had mentioned prior, right? Come to find out, when I was seeing the little red ribbon tied around the peaky, like not to forget, when the DNR guy was telling us, took us into this kitchen that was off the mansion. It wasn't even attached to the mansion. It was just like another place. I seen an African-American lady in a long dress with her hair up, cooking food, and she raced right past us. Her spirit did. Raced right past us like she was in a hurry to deliver food into the mansion. So as he's talking about us, he says, now, some of this equipment does not belong to the Blennerhassetts when they lived here, but the things with the red ribbon tied around them are actual stuff or items that belong to the Blennerhassetts, and we have collected them over the years, or people donated them. That's what the red ribbon around my pinky was to like make me remember, pay attention to the red ribbon on your pinky. So everything that had a giant red bow on it, or a big red bow on it, was things that actually came from the Blennerhassetts before they fled that island. It was remnants and dishes, platters, furniture that they have inherited back to the island that belonged to the people that built the mansion. So that's what the tie ribbon around your pinky, red ribbon around your pinky meant. In my notes, I have all that, and that's prior to me going down there. So that's just a little bit about the paranormal investigation. And grant you, yes, you can pick up dust particles. If you're in a dirty ass attic and you're moving around and nobody's been up there for a while, you can pick up dust particles, all right? But when I have 2 pictures prior to those Indians coming out from behind the trees like I asked them to do, and there's nothing, and then boom, when I'm asking them, please step out from behind the trees and come closer. We're not here to harm you. We respect your land. Matter of fact, we're not happy with what's happened to the land either. That's when we got the ghostly apparitions of Indians behind me. So, dust particles, I will challenge that one. So, something else that happened on the way down there that I probably should talk about is a lot of times if I'm in a vehicle with somebody, I'm sitting very close to them. So I'm in their energy space. I can feel things or people that belong to them. So as I'm driving down there, this song comes in my head, Mamma Mia, twice. And like I'm supposed to sing it twice. And so it was really weird. So in my head, I'm singing Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. So I look at my friend in the passenger seat. I'm like, listen, I keep hearing this song, Mamma Mia, like that. And then here it comes again, Mamma Mia. Don't know why I was hearing it. I have no idea why I was hearing it. And I said, I'm getting chills on my legs. If somebody's coming through, I can feel them in the car with us. And blah, 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 blah. My friend's like, don't you remember when we were in Florida a couple years ago, you were driving and all of a sudden you started singing Mamma Mia, and then my family came through and you started telling me things that nobody else would know? And I said, did I do that? And she said, yes, you did. That is the first thing you sang was Mamma Mia. See, I don't even remember because I've done so many readings that I can't keep track of everything I've said to people. I seriously can't. It's almost like I'm not there, but I am there when I do it. So all the things I say, if I don't record it, then I have to go back. If I do record it, I have to go back and listen because I don't know what they're talking about because I don't remember saying it. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I have the three women in the aprons rolling dough or rolling noodles or rolling dough. They're rolling something. And she says, yes, my mom, my aunts, they used to roll dough out all the time because they made pies. I'm like, okay, so that's your family. I've got them here. So she acknowledged that. All of a sudden, I felt drawn to say Sicilian. They said, we want you to say Sicilian. My friend would know what I was talking about, right? So they're telling me to say this. So I said, do you know what? I said, I'm just going to tell you how it's being told to me. They want me to say Sicilian. I feel like I have to say Sicilian. I didn't know why. My friend's like, no, we're not Italian, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't really feel Italian to me. It just was the word Sicilian that stuck out and that they wanted me to say. So I'm like, I don't know what the Sicilian is, but they want me to say it. I feel I have to say it, so I'm just saying it, Sicilian. She's like, no, we're not Italian. I don't know what Sicilian would be. I'm not sure. Right after I heard the Sicilian, I said, I had a cigarette in my hand. I said, do you smell cigars? Because I started smelling cigars. No, I don't smell cigars. I said, I am smelling cigars very strongly. And I said, I've got someone that's smoking a big, old, fat cigar from way back, like the old school kind, chewing on it, ning, 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 chewing on the end, and it's the big, fat, stinky cigars, ning, ning, ning. And she says, I know who that is. That's my Uncle Frank. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm glad she could acknowledge that because she still couldn't get the Sicilian, right? So she's like, yeah, my Uncle Frank and my aunt and uncle used to come over every Sunday to my house and they play cards, adults did, and da-da-da-da, right? Okay. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So later on, after all this is done, just to let her know that her loved ones are around her and they're in the car with us because obviously they're giving me these things, right? So hang on a minute. Okay, so after we're all done with the car ride, we finally get to our farmhouse destination down in the southern border of Ohio, West Virginia area. So we get down there. The other person that went with us wasn't feeling very well, so we told him to go in there and take a nap. We sat out on the porch. So my friend's daughter called, or my friend called her daughter to let her know we made it safely, blah, 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 blah. Her daughter asked, did Charity bring anything through? Did she get anything on the way down there? And my friend's like, yeah, she picked up Uncle Frank. And smelled his cigars. And she's like to her daughter, don't you remember Uncle Frank and his wife Cecilia? And I looked at my friend and I'm like, what did you just say her name was? She said, Cecile. Oh my God. She said, you said Sicilian and you didn't know why they wanted you to say that. She said, my Uncle Frank and Aunt Cecilia came to our house every weekend. I said, duh, like that, because I couldn't figure out why I was hearing like Sicilian. That's what it sounded like they were saying, Sicilian. Really, it was Cecilia. So come to find out, Cecilia and Frank were a married couple. They were her aunt and uncle that used to be at the house every weekend to play cards with the family and eat and all that fun stuff as a family on Sundays. So my friend was like, you said Sicilian. And I kept saying, no, we're not Italian. We're not Italian. So the first person that had come through in the car was her Aunt Cecilia, but it sounded like Sicilian. See, that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes our loved ones say something and I'm the one misinterpreting it because it sounds like they're saying Sicilian to me. She wasn't saying Sicilian. She was saying Cecilia. And probably she said Sicilian because that was the closest thing to her name that I would understand to be able to repeat. So when my friend did not acknowledge Sicilian, that's when Uncle Frank with the big cigar stepped in and was like, duh, lady, we're your family. So that should have put two and two together, but my friend never caught it until we were sitting outside and she was on the phone and she says, you remember Uncle Frank and Aunt Cecilia, don't you? Talking to her daughter. And I look at her like, what did you just say? She said, yeah, my Aunt Cecile. And then it registered. She was like, oh my God, you did say Cecile, but you said Sicilian. And I'm thinking Italy and you're talking a name. And I said, well, that would make sense why your Uncle Frank came through with the cigars right after I said Sicilian, because he wanted you, they were trying to get you to realize who they were that was in the car with us and that was around you. She was floored. She couldn't believe it. She was in shock that I was even able to say a name that's so odd, Cecilia, that is so odd that you just couldn't pull it out of your ass, guys. Out of all the names in the world, I would probably say like Cindy or Mandy or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because them are common names. No, I pulled a name that was so odd. I don't know any Cecilias that I could think of that it came through. I thought Sicilian, but that might have been them just saying, say Sicilian. She'll understand what you're saying. She'll know it's my name because that's an odd name, right? So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. No matter where I go, no matter how much on the back burner I am with my gift, things still come through clear as a bell. I still hear them. Just because I'm not focusing on my gift like I should be doesn't mean that the spirits aren't there ready to talk. It's just that my mind is so preoccupied with work and trying to get all this stuff ahead of time so I can enjoy my life, what I have of one. And, so don't ever think that you should not believe. Always believe. Because I always still believe. I know I can do it, but my ego steps in and is like, you don't have time for that right now. You got to focus on your business, the one that's, pertains to your customers and your employees. You know what I'm saying? So just know that no matter what, if you have a gift or you're trying to hone in on your gift or whatever, just know it is there. You just got to push that little ego out of the way and let whatever comes through, the information come through like it should. Not only did that happen, right after she told her daughter about Cecilia and Frank, she hangs up the phone and she stands up and she walks over to the beginning of we had a little bridge that went to the farmhouse over a creek to get to the farmhouse. And right there sat a male and female cardinal. And she said, oh my God, there is a male cardinal it must have been on the bridge to get there. Male and female cardinal together. And I'm like, well, duh, they're trying to tell you it's Cecilia and Frank, but I didn't say that. But I'm just saying it's odd that they appeared together right then and there. So I just want to share that story because I want you guys to know that, for one, I'm not ignoring you if you are messaging me. And I love hearing your stories. And I do read your stories. I might not always respond, or it might take me a few days to respond. And on the messages, I haven't responded to a lot of those messages right now because I just don't have time. And I feel like if I'm going to do something for you, I need to seriously be able to focus solely on you and your family and loved ones before I start blurting anything out. Because I could be right in the middle of texting you back and my phone's ringing because I need to go get pop from the store for the bar. So then that just throws me way off in left field and I'm totally done for the night. I just, I can't focus on something that I want to focus on because that place cuts into so much of my my spiritual intuition and mediumship. But I just want to share that story because I miss all of you and I love all of you so much. And I wish I could take the time out to do videos every day or to teach you how to hone in on your gifts breath work and things like that. Feel the vibes around you, kind of thing, because I know more people out there could do this if they put their heart into it and their heart was pure, so to speak. Because I wholeheartedly love everybody until they give me a reason not to. And I give people the benefit of the doubt, even when I probably shouldn't. I feel bad for people who I see that are down on their luck. My heart hurts for them because I know they struggle when everybody else is talking shit about them or putting them down for the way they're acting, making them, feel. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's probably part of the reason why I have this gift, is because I want to help people. So even when someone's annoying someone else, I'm the one that wants to be the level-headed and be like, listen, you got to stop doing that because you're making people nervous and we don't like that, instead of just talking shit about them. But so I don't know. Everybody's got the gift of some kind, whether it's art, music, intuition, gut feelings, full of positive energy all the time, a role model to numerous people. I mean, everybody's got some kind of gift. Just that people don't utilize it. So many people are just so apt to hate and judge others, and instead of trying to use kindness to make this world a better place like it used to be back in the day. And instead, we need to follow our gut instincts, and don't be shocked if you hear more stuff happening about our country or other countries here in the next couple months. But I guarantee there's some things that are probably going to come out even more now. And if you have not watched Skinwalker Ranch, you probably should. And if you have not watched Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, you probably should. And if you have not watched Dr. Greer's conference in Washington, D.C., then you probably should. It's like a couple hours long, and people actually stand up that were witnesses who lost everything because it was taken from them because they wouldn't sign an NDA. So I suggest watch some of those things, because there's going to be some things that come to light that you guys might not have been aware of, especially with Dr. Greer's 700 people of whistleblowers that's worked for all kinds of places that had to have governmental badges or whatever. So military personnel spilling their beads because they know what they seen and what happened. They were there and witnessed it for their own self and everybody else that was there. But they've been told to keep quiet or their lives will be ruined. So that's what came out June 12th, 2023. The other thing was, I think June 22nd or whatever, the Hunter Biden laptop leaks. These are the things I'm talking about that are coming to light that people didn't know existed and was right under our noses. But thank God for people coming forward and speaking up their truth about what they know, about what they've seen, or about what they witnessed. Because more people are starting to come out and talk about these things, including the bad things that Biden's group of people have done. Hiding money and using their power, political power, to gain access to certain countries and to get paid off from them certain countries. So just pay attention, because you're going to see a whole lot more. And nothing shocks me when it comes to that, because I just don't trust none of them. But anyways, happy freaking, what is today? Thursday. Happy Thursday. Believe, 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 and always believe in yourself. And don't doubt yourself. I tell myself that too. Quit doubting yourself. You know you can do this, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to say, just touch base with you guys. I hope you enjoyed my little stories. I know there's so much more to it, and I might post some more pictures or whatever that I have, and they're not dust particles. Just remember that. All right, love y'all. Have a good evening.